Hi, and welcome to Sallie Tomato and our YouTube channel. I'm Kate, and today we are going to make a fun reversible table topper. It's part of our ongoing collection of Sallie Tomato video tutorials in our library. This pattern includes easy to sew instructions, so you can easily create more than one. I'm going to show you how to prepare the blade shapes, assemble them, attach a center, and then we'll go on to final assembly. The name of this project, Dresden, comes directly from the older version of quilted Dresden plates or blocks, and those were inspired by gorgeous, very ornate porcelains that were made in Dresden, Germany. So now we are circling back, so to speak, right back to the table, and this Dresden table topper is a much easier version. It only takes a little bit of sewing, but it's a great way to use up smaller pieces of fabric, just as the original quilt blocks did. Be sure to purchase the pattern before beginning your project. The pattern and your supplies can be purchased from our website or request them at your local quilt shop. Ready to get started? Remember, you can pause the video anytime during the project. So gather some beautiful fabrics, a few extra supplies, and I'll see you at the work table. Before beginning, please review the recommended fabrics on the back of the pattern cover and the pattern corrections page on our website for any updates. We recommend 4 main fabrics to create coordinating sides of the table topper. You may certainly use more fabrics if you like, because this is a fun pattern for using smaller fabrics that are left over from other projects that creates even more interest. On the pattern, we've also included a list of helpful notions, and you really will want the basting tape. I'm actually going to use 2 sizes of the basting tape, a narrow 1/4 inch and then a slightly wider 3/8 to almost 1/2 inch wide basting tape. So make sure you have some basting tape on hand. First, copy and trace pattern pieces A and B that are included in your pattern. Use these traced patterns to trace and cut out the blades. You'll need 8-piece A blades of both the main fabric 1 and main fabric 2. Then as you can see as I'm cutting, I'm actually cutting just inside of the traced line. That way my pieces don't get bigger as I'm cutting. By cutting off the line, I'm trying to be as accurate to the size of the template or pattern as possible. Next, draw a 4-inch diameter circle, or use a large mug that measures 4 inches across to cut a center circle from each of those fabrics as well. So you'll have one circle from the main fabric 1 and another circle from the main fabric 2. Then you'll need 8-piece B blades traced and cut from the main fabric 3 and main fabric 4. At this point, it helps to keep the A and B blades separate, as well as the colors of each kept together. Or if you prefer, take a few minutes to write the piece letter and fabric number on the wrong sides with removable pen or chalk. And we have just one more thing to do in preparing the blades. You're going to mark the wrong side of both fabric A blades, that's both color of those blades, in from the long angled edges, creating a guideline on the wrong side of those pieces. And then we're going to take a few minutes to prepare a work surface. On a large piece of paper, draw perpendicular center lines. Then draw diagonal lines dividing that grid in half. Or if it's easy for you, use a gridded cutting mat that's used for crafting and quilting. All right, let's move on to preparing those center circles. Mark perpendicular lines for center on the wrong side of each piece C. That is going to be your center circles. You're also going to mark guidelines in from the raw edges along the circular outer edge of both pieces C as well. Now we can arrange and attach the blades. Place one piece C, wrong side up, centered over the positioning grid that you've drawn on your paper. tape it in place to secure it. I'm using just small rolls of washi tape that easily peels away without damaging the cork fabric surfaces. And then center one main fabric piece A blade, wrong side up, on each vertical and horizontal grid line. Align the narrow ends with the marked circle on your piece C center, and then tape or glue those narrow ends in place. Repeat the step, positioning a main fabric 2 piece A blade, wrong side up, centered, on each diagonal grid line. So now you're going to have all the grid lines with a blade piece, wrong side facing up. And be sure to tape those narrow ends in place again. Okay, now position the main fabric 3 and 4 pieces, those are your B blades, again wrong sides up, between the pieces A that are already positioned on your guideline paper. You're going to align the long edges with the marks that are on the pieces A, and then the narrow ends with the marked center circle. I'm going to go ahead and tape my edges that have the marks on of my A blades, and that way it'll be faster when I'm positioning my B blades. So I prefer using double-sided basting tape at the narrower width because I find it's a lot stronger for this step than the washi tape. And if you want this project to be a no-sew project, certainly use permanent craft glue here. And then you may want to add sewing clips at the very end for a little extra security just at the outer edges. Gently lift the Dresden off your positioning grid and carefully turn it right side up, and you can see how pretty yours is going to look. All right, now that we have the Dresden on our sewing machine bed, we can top stitch using a narrow allowance along the raw edge of the center first, and then all the long angled edges of the pieces A, or the blades. And I like to start stitching about an 1/8 inch in from the outer corners of the overlapping blades. It just gives a little bit extra allowance if we need to do a little trimming at the very end. But take your time, keeping the Dresden as flat as possible. This is where an extension table or having your machine in a cabinet is really helpful. And then another tip is we have a lot of layers stacked, and we're using basting tape, which can gum up a needle a little bit. So I would recommend trying a non-stick needle in your sewing machine for this step. Now repeat all the steps, arranging and attaching the remaining blades to the remaining center. You'll complete a second Dresden. And now we can assemble the centerpiece. You'll see I did change my colors just a little bit on my second Dresden, but you'll place the 2 Dresdens wrong sides together, aligning all the points and edges. Hold the layers together with basting spray, basting tape, or glue. I'm going to add a few extra sewing clips just to keep those outer edges secure. And now all we have to do is top stitch along the outer raw edges with a narrow allowance. And then if you need to, you can certainly trim any edges that might look uneven, but we're finished. Congratulations! You have just finished your first reversible cork fabric Dresden. Here I have another sample of a cooler palette on one side, but then flip it over and a completely different look, all new fabrics. So this would make a delightful housewarming or hostess gift, or as a more substantial gift, make a whole set as placemats for a table. Please share photos of your completed project with us using hashtag Sallie Tomato and hashtag Dresden Tabletopper. All of us at Sallie Tomato would love to see your latest creation. Visit our website for more mini patterns. These are designed for all skill levels and are intended to be quick sew projects. Consider joining our monthly mini club for only $5 a month and receive a new mini pattern to your mailbox or inbox each month. Most patterns will include a video tutorial on our YouTube channel. Thank you for sewing with me today. Enjoy your new table decor and have a great making day. I'll see you soon.